wanna show you, wanna let you loose inside my brain to see if you'd run or stay. I can't seem to look away. still remember how it used to be. Holding hands, running wild and free. Crossed our hearts, said we'd never let go. I still think about our younger days. And welcome everybody to week number 5 of CSL. This is the Northeast 7 region, and this will be a series between Rutgers Junior Varsity and CUNY Queens College Soaring Nights, I believe. I am here. I'm Dennis alongside Dan.
Hello, I'm here as well.
And yeah, we're about to get into this series. So this is week number 5 of CSL. This is our final series, actually, before the mid-season break, the winter break. I don't know what you would call it necessarily, but Rutgers JV will be back on January 9th, and Varsity will be back on the 16th. But this is the last game before that break. It's another game on the big 10.23 patch that came out just over a week ago. So a lot of people are still getting used to the preseason conditions. Rutgers JV is currently undefeated after a win last week against Vermont. So far, only dropping one game out of the 3 series they've played so far against Stevens. They're up against Queens College, who is 2-1 on this CSL season, with a loss in week number 4 against Stevens 2-0. So generally a good sign for Rutgers, but you can't say too much about it. Rutgers is holding on to that first place spot in a tie with Harrisburg right now. Obviously, Harrisburg is a fantastic team, and when Rutgers JV plays up against them, which I am pretty sure will be right after the break, so on January 9th, that'll be a massive test for this Rutgers team. But even regardless of that, this should be a pretty exciting series, and one where this Rutgers team can kind of prove themselves to be in one of those top couple of spots, prove themselves to belong in the playoffs, prove themselves to be definitely near the top of this division.
Yeah, and also we're gonna talk about JV here, but we also need to talk about the main varsity team.
Also
Unfortunately,
undefeated.
yeah, they are also undefeated. Let me just get the standings up for them. Yep, here we go. Yep, Rutgers Varsity currently undefeated in their own division, which is Division 6, Junior Varsity being in Division 7. But unfortunately, Rutgers Varsity will not be playing this weekend because of another FF, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that they are pretty much done for the rest of 2020, and they will be back, I believe, the 16th, so a week after Junior Varsity makes their return. And yeah, so we won't be seeing any varsity action anymore for the rest of 2020, but we will see them back in 2021.
Yep. And also the varsity team has been having such a good season so far, so I'm definitely I've been impressed by both of these teams over the course of this CSL season. They still have a lot of tests ahead of them. The other Queens College team is one on the schedule for Rutgers. Varsity coming up at some point, the Rising Knights. Other than that, Northeastern also looks a little difficult, but for the most part, I think that both of these teams are looking really good, and I am just excited to see how they are kind of adapting. There are a lot of obviously the CSL season's tough.
Yeah, definitely
And
very difficult.
preseason is tough to adapt to.
Yeah. Speaking
So
of
I guess we can
preseason,
translate. Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, let's go into
What have you been
preseason.
seeing out of the meta so far, Dan?
I'll just say 2 words: tank junglers. Specifically, tank junglers that like to go magic damage. We've seen. I mean, if you've looked at OPGG or any of those stat websites, you've seen like maybe 3, 4 junglers that are like above a 55% win rate, which is beyond broken. And the big one that everyone talks about is a Mumu. So
Mm-hmm.
get that Sunfire Aegis, just start doing damage over time. Maybe get a Leandries. No, wait, you can't get a Leandries. That's 2 mythic
The
items. You
Demonic
can't do that. Yeah,
Embrace.
Demonic Embrace. That's
Yeah.
the item that's causing so
Amumu
much
synergizes
pain.
so well with both of those items, and so it's just it's the microwave. You just get put in the microwave. And that Sunfire Aegis, the microwave item, has been so strong
It's not
over
just
this whole.
It's not just a Mumu. It's also any jungler that can build that. Top laners can build it too. We've seen, or especially in the jungle at least, we've seen a Mumu build it. Rammus builds it too. We've seen I think Nunu as well. Those are like the top 3 junglers that I can think of off the top of my head. And then there's some
Mm-hmm.
other picks that are that have been popping up a lot lately. Especially, I want to talk about Swain bot lane. That one has been causing a lot of havoc, I guess, in the bot lane. I think he's chilling at around around a 56% win rate. I'm pretty sure, which is also very high. So maybe we could see Swain bot lane that could pop up, or some kind of mage bot lane is also possible. Knowing that this meta is slowly becoming more and more familiar for everyone. So we will see what
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna do in this best of 3 series, knowing that they have a general understanding of the preseason. It's been about a week now, week and a half, I guess. So I'd say it's a reasonable amount of time for players to adapt to these new item changes, but
It is a lot of time to adapt, but at the same time, I think we'll have a much better idea of everything in about once the break is over in January, when a lot more patches have come through. Obviously, a bunch of big hotfixes have come through, nerfing Sunfire Aegis, nerfing the Immolate passive, nerfing Eclipse, nerfing a couple of the outlier champions. So there are a lot of things still being discussed at this point, but we are into pick and ban. That's a Brand ban. Brand has been so popular both top and mid lane. Such a strong pick. I am not at all surprised to see that banned right off the bat. Kha'Zix, I would
Kha'Zix
also
as well,
not be
yeah.
surprised to see this locked in.
yeah, there's another other than tank junglers ruling the jungle. There's also assassins.
AD assassins, yeah.
This is like Zed, Talon, Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix being the probably the most popular out
Yep.
of the assassins. So I respect the ban coming out of Kha'Zix. So they're coming onto Kha'Zix. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But anyway,
Fiora is also super popular. It looks like Queen's College has taken a pretty smart stance of banning a couple of the OPs that have also been shown off by Rutgers, so I like that plan. Camille would also be a pretty nice standard ban. There aren't a lot of there are a lot of pretty key priorities, but it doesn't look like anyone's super comfortable on anything, so there aren't a lot of pocket picks necessarily being banned as much as stuff that was heavily benefited by the changes, at least so far in this draft. Maybe we'll see a little bit more player-specific banning in the second phase of the draft.
and we'll see what they will now ban. Could be more one of those meta-oriented champions, or quote-unquote meta.
Aurelia.
Yeah,
Huh.
and Aurelia going to be taken off the champion pool for Rutgers.
Yeah, probably something that's helped quite a bit by the Trinity Force changes, giving you extra attack speed. It lets you stack up your Aurelia stacks a little bit faster on the passive, so definitely not a bad ban. A lot of AD fighters getting banned away. They have been pretty popular. A lot of extra changes to give them more options, and yeah, Lee Sin's a pretty normal ban.
Yep, Lee Sin.
Not an amazing champion, but still normal. And here it is.
Here we have it. The mummy who suddenly is now broken.
I'd be shocked to see this not locked in. Part of the reason why Amumu has been so popular is both because Amumu is broken and also because Amumu is really easy to play. So even if you don't have a lot of playtime on Amumu, it's not hard to press the W button. Although, here is the other option. Another champion that's been super popular lately, especially with the Gore Drinker added, is Kane right here. So I would not be surprised to see the Kane locked in.
I'm actually not. I mean, I'm not unhappy about the pick, but it is a pretty good response, I'd say, into Amumu. Kane with one of the best early game stats in the entire game, statistically. So Kane should be able to just find Amumu in the jungle, or even just counter jungle if he wants to. Get the Shadow Step level 2 and just literally just walk over to the next jungle camp that Amumu might take and just try to keep this Amumu behind so that he doesn't scale as hard.
Yeah. And Amumu can have a couple of issues before you hit that Sunfire Aegis point, before you hit the level 6. There are some stuff you can punish Amumu at, but we've got a couple of other lock-ins here. Galio and Zed probably will be the matchup in the mid lane, and the Samira probably locked in for AD carry. Although we might see this Fizz. Fizz is actually crazy strong. I'd be really excited to see this.
Fizz is definitely a good counter to Zed. They assumed that I'm pretty sure they did blind pick the Zed.
I think it was expected to be against the Galio, which honestly is a pretty good expectation, but I think the Galio is actually going to be flexed as the support now. And that was just kind of got schmooved because Zed is a pretty good pick into Galio. Galio is very anti-mage, has a lot of magic resistance, like magic resistance shields and just magic resistance buffs. So Zed is usually a good pick into Galio also because Zed will be able to get the lane push, will be able to auto attack freely. But now you're up against this Fizz, completely different matchup, and a pretty good one at that. So I'm liking this draft so far, like from both teams. I think both of them have made some pretty smart calls so far. I don't think either team
picks. There's the Samira as well that we should probably talk about. Samira does very well with the shield bow, get that lifesteal, get that AD. Going to benefit greatly from all of Samira's abilities, basically, especially when it comes to the ultimate. So, I really
Samira
like
is one of the big beneficiaries of all of the added crit chance. Ooh, okay.
Heimer bot lane. That's what I assume
Galio
it is.
Bot lane. I'm guessing it's Heimer Galio bot lane. That's actually not a bad pick into Samira because Samira can't.
Wait, I have a question. Do you think SAT Prep will go back on that Kane top?
It's possible. We'll have to see. It is very possible, and I think that it's
very
an intentional
likely.
flex.
It seems very likely here.
I think it is an intentional flex at this point.
So then the question is, what are they going to play into the Amumu? Like, how are they going to try to put this Amumu behind? Are they going to go for that early game jungler, or are they just going to choose someone that's going to scale with the Amumu to try to match whenever Amumu gets those item spikes? But either way, Vladimir going to get locked in.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely see where this Kane goes. You can decide to go with something like a Hecarim or just something that's generally pretty good, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of... I wouldn't be surprised to see this the Lucian locked in. It would not be a bad matchup into the Vladimir, both ranged. And there we go. Yep,
Lucian.
So that'll be Lucian top probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an odd draft.
This is
from
not
both
what
teams,
you see
but I actually
every day.
really like it a lot.
Yeah.
They're definitely picking a lot of power picks on this patch and stuff that synergizes well with a lot of the new item choices, as well as just a lot of the methods of playing the game. So I'm actually really excited to see how these two teams play it out in game.
Yeah, and before we go anywhere, someone in Twitch chat asked, "Is this live?" It's kind of live. I guess.
We are required by CSL to be on a 2-minute delay, and added when in game it'll be added to the 3-minute delay that we have there. So it's a CSL requirement. Sorry about that.
CSL requirement. We are 2 minutes into the future at the moment. So yeah, I'd say it's kind of live, but according to CSL regulations, we have to do this. So yeah. Please, I hope you understand.
The champion picks. I'm I really like the drafts from both of these teams. I'm excited to see a lot of these champions in general. I think Heimer Galio is kind of an interesting bot lane. It'll almost certainly be a Leandries and the Heimerdinger. Leandries has been such a power pick mythic in terms of champions that synergize well with Leandries tend to be the ones that are doing really well right now. And that's really exciting to see, especially in the bottom lane where obviously so many AD carries are theoretically good, but honestly not a lot of AD carries are that good. Jhin with the Eclipse has been one of the best picks. Samira, who tends to have a mixed build. I'll be interested to see how Virus Juge? I'll go with Virus Juge. Decides to build Samira this game. A lot of the time, Samira is kind of the one. I was saying Samira is one of the big beneficiaries of the crit changes, where now you are able to buy Immortal Shield Bow plus Bloodthirster and get to 40% crit chance without losing out on any of the survivability, or without losing out on a lot of the survivability.
Definitely.
You get a lot of life steal out of that. Although at the same time, I've seen the Collector built occasionally on Samira, and Collector has actually been one of the more popular items that I've seen as a crit lethality mix item that has been incredibly popular on both lethality champions and crit champions, and obviously that middle space is Jhin, who synergizes so well with that. You go Eclipse into Collector into crit build, and it feels great. Jin's such a good champion right now, but he's not in this game because he's banned.
Yeah, he got banned. So it's also, I think, one of Dudeface's go-to AD carries, and we kind of forgot that Rutgers Junior Varsity kind of did a little bit of a switcheroo.
Yeah, there was an interesting switcheroo there. I think that this mid lane matchup will be one of the key things to look at because of that switcheroo. Galio Heimerdinger should work fairly well in the bottom lane, at least, as a lane that pushes very well, especially into Samira Nautilus. Neither of them has a lot of decent wave push, while Heimerdinger is great at bottom lane wave control alongside a support. But flexing the Galio from presumably mid lane down to bot lane, it makes it so that this Fizz pick is definitely going to be one of the key points of the early game, where I definitely want to see it taking a big advantage over WX on the Zed, because that Zed can be a dangerous pick. You can get really far ahead, you can get a bunch of kills, but at the same time, you can fall really far behind and be super useless in the game. There are a lot of squishy champions in this game. Heimerdinger is pretty easy to kill, although Heimerdinger will probably build Hourglass second. Yeah. Lucian can be pretty easy to kill, although I could see defensive coming out of Lucian. There are also... It's kind of difficult to build defensive against Zed when you're playing against Vladimir Amumu as the top laner. I mean, the Fizz is obviously kind of difficult to kill.
I guess the best thing for Lucian would be Shield Bow. That would probably be Lucian's go-to mythic, unless the Zed somehow gets very behind. So.
Yeah, the thing about Lucian is that Shield Bow feels really good in terms of like survivability, but Kraken Slayer is actually really good on Lucian because you stack the auto attacks a lot faster. And so you start shredding stuff with Kraken Slayer on Lucian. And so it's kind of a greedy build, but it's not as greedy as a lot of other champions because you're stacking so much faster. And so I am curious to see where SAT Prep decides to go with this, or SAT Prep could just go for a very early Hex Drinker as a kind of holdover item until you get the Mythic, and maybe just go for like a Hex Drinker into Kraken Slayer, have that kind of mixed concepts. There's definitely a lot of exciting preseason stuff.
A lot of strong. There's so many strong picks. So I don't know. Preseason did a lot to these champions.
Preseason did do a lot to basically all of these champions. I think like Nautilus and Galio are the only ones like not really affected because they're supports, and supports aren't really affected. But even then, I'm guessing one or both are probably going to build Sunfire because the microwave is just so good. We aren't actually seeing a lot of that this game. It's just the Amumu. I have seen a lot of people move towards the Sunfire as a key option on every tank. but it looks like that's not really what people are going for in this game. A lot more damage, a lot more kill potential, a lot of assassins, a lot of bursty champions. So I'm definitely excited to see how this game goes. So definitely be sure to stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break to get into game, but when we are back, we will be in game with game number 1 of Queen's College versus Rutgers, so do not go anywhere. And welcome back to week number 5 of CSL between Queen's College on the blue side, Rutgers on the red. This is week number 3. Very exciting series ahead of us, and Rutgers looking for a fun start to game number 1.
Give me a second.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
We got a little bit of issues. There, I forgot to turn off champion names. Let me just fix that real quick.
All right.
Should be some of their name. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
All right. Rutgers pushed forward a little bit. They got a bit of early vision. It looks like they didn't lose any vision in the meantime. Cho'Gath was actually a little bit late out of base trying to buy items. I saw Cho'Gath sell items and then buy items again. It might have been switching out Chilling Smite for Challenging Smite, the Ember Knife. But kind of an interesting play there, but definitely slightly positive for Rutgers. Does mean Rutgers will get a little bit more vision. There is a little bit of defensive vision for Queen's College in their river, but I don't think that they'll get a whole lot out of it. Rutgers will get a lot more information than Queens College will be able to. So,
yeah,
decent early.
Yeah, both junglers will start on the top side. I'm assuming. Wait, not assuming, but Queens College actually pinged out where Nucleic could be, so we have a little bit of information. Not much, but it's a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
they might have just read it from the locations of SAT prep and the Rutgers bottom lane, but I'm not 100% sure. Kind of an interesting choice for Yuki Minoko to go for the Dorn's shield. A lot of Vladimirs have been going for the Dorn's ring as
oh, wait a minute, there's a little bit of a skirmish down in the bot lane. Collegiate gonna use Taunt. Dudebei using the turrets to try to do some damage, but he did level up E second, so no option for a rocket there. But
yeah, sadly the back two turrets were out of range, so you didn't get that big burst of extra damage. There was only a little bit of extra damage there. Still a very good play, though. Will burn a couple of health pots away. Everything helps for a bully lane like this. Wow.
oh wow, both ignites going down. Cho'Gath is in the mid lane now, but Arch Spartan is ticking down, but he will be able to survive just a little bit longer. Also, Clay can just say something about this. Arch Spartan being able to dash through WX will just barely get out, and Nucleic will pick up the first blood. Now Cho'Gath needs to run away. Doesn't have the flash, remember, and now Arch Spartan can just hop in and pick up that kill. Great early game skirmish by Rutgers.
I thought that was going to be a massive misplay by Arch Spartan. Had some issues on the front end of that play. Okay, we're still fighting.
Oh, wait, yeah, we're still fighting in the bot lane. Collegiate taking down very low. The heal comes in, but it's not going to be enough as Virus will flash forward, will dash through Dudebei to get out to safety, and the turrets are going to try to do some sort of damage. Dudebei putting down the stuns, putting down the rockets, but Jarek will flash forward. Dudebei surely will go down here, and Virus will get a double kill. Or not a double kill.
Yep.
Jarek will actually gets one of them, but anyway, nice 2v2.
Yeah. Yeah, even still, a very good 2v2 from the Queens College bottom lane. It looked a little rough just because they are fighting into Heimerdinger, but at the same time, it's actually a really tanky Nautilus even at this point in the game, and there just isn't enough damage on the early
SAT
Heimerdinger.
prep going
This is
hard.
a kill.
Yuki Minoko gonna have to flash here.
The flash stopped it from being a kill, but
Yeah.
even still. I will say, it has been kind of rough for Arch Spartan in this early game. Even though they still got the turnaround kills, WX has kind of been feeling pretty fine in lane. Hasn't really gotten to any sort of CS deficit. Is actually at a CS advantage. So, definitely a lot of work for Rutgers still to get ahead on this one. Arch Spartan has the item advantage, does have the, it's the Hextech Alternator now, not the Revolver. It's basically the same as the old Hextech Revolver, but now it's the Hextech
It's a little bit
Alternator.
better. And we got a pause.
We did got a bit of a pause. I believe someone went to the bathroom. So,
Another toilet issue.
another toilet issue. League of Legends, am I right?
So, what can we
I guess
try to
just
figure out from
well, we
here?
are gonna get back into it real quick. It looks like so. There are a lot of summoners burned so far. Both teleports have been burned in the top lane with Yuki Minoko's flash as well. Cho'Gath's flash, Nucleic's flash, all the mid jungle flashes, all the bottom lane flashes except Keldrick. So definitely a lot of options remaining for something like a gank, but also a lot of potential for a ganking jungler to just die.
But,
So this could be kind of scary. Ooh,
wow, SCT
good
Prep
damage.
going to go hard. Doesn't have anything, but does have the flash to move forward. But Yuki Minoko, not enough cooldown reduction for that Q. And we'll just get solo killed by SCT Prep.
Yep. That's what happens when you burn your flash and then you burn your pool as Vladimir. Lucian kills you. And that was honestly just... A lot of that just comes from the counterpick in the top lane. SAT Prep having that Lucian counterpick now has a massive CS difference as well as the kill lead. That will be a huge benefit for Rutgers in this early game if they can get SAT Prep moving a little bit, maybe get another kill, maybe get some more plates. That is the early Executioner's calling as well. That's going to be so difficult for Yuki Minoko to play up against, because usually if you are playing AP into Lucian, you don't want Lucian to also cut down your healing as Vladimir. Vladimir can't really do anything right now, just has to buy some cloth armors and hope you don't die. It's still tough though.
Oh, wait a minute. Art Spartan gonna go in. He's level 6. WX still not having the ultimate just yet. And now Nucleic is here. He's just gonna take away the kill, actually.
Wow.
With a single auto.
Bit of a chaos, but I guess he wanted to get the orb. One orb that you get
got
from
one
fighting
orb.
WX. Nucleic is moving towards, has bought the Iron Spike Whip, moving towards the Gore Drinker, most likely. As that mythic item, such a good item on Kayn. You get more spinny moves, you get more healing on the Red Kayn, which I assume you'll be going for. Which honestly, Red Kayn is such a good matchup.
Nucleic. He's gonna show himself top lane. Yuki Minoko does have the pools, and Nucleic will respect that the W is off cooldown, and he will just back out, leaving Yuki Minoko at a sliver of HP. And so to cause a lot of pressure, Human Plague and Sanguine Pool gonna be wasted pretty much by Yuki Minoko. Probably
yeah,
was.
I mean, it means that
yeah,
SAT Prep is going to get that kill otherwise, so
Yeah,
now it's going to be a lot of tower pressure.
I'd assume Yuki Minoko was expecting a dive coming out of them, so he just, you know, preemptively used the Hemoplague to try to survive a little bit. But that does mean that Cho'Gath can easily take that Cloud Dragon in the bot side of the map.
Yeah, definitely a good early dragon take, although early Cloud is nice, but it's not necessarily the most important thing in the world. It'll definitely be nice to get the gold on the top side for SAT Prep, having a honestly gigantic gold lead that's basically making up most of the gold difference between these teams right now. Meanwhile, this Rutgers bottom lane is actually having kind of a rough time. They haven't gotten to back. They're playing up against Noon Quiver. Ooh, good damage.
Yeah, not having the best time in the bot lane. Currently a 10 CS difference, as our Spartan will trade a little bit with WX.
I mean, they're playing Amp Tome versus Noon Quiver in the bottom lane. They just have a lot fewer stats right now, and it can be kind of difficult to play up into that. So it's not too surprising that they're having issues. Meanwhile, Yuki Minoko. Oh.
Death Mark gonna be used by WX to try to do a little bit of damage. Art Spartan is gonna have to flush away. WX also on a sliver of HP, but Art Spartan is able to heal up. But actually, WX does have a health pot, so he will heal up. But the Q lands, the ultimate will as well, and Cho'Gath will just blow up Art Spartan under his own tower.
Yep. Very good play by Cho'Gath.
Oh, wait a minute, Nucleic's coming in though. He's gonna flash forward. Wow. And meanwhile, culling going to be used by SAT Prep. So much action happening already as Nucleic trying to find a kill onto WX, but WX is already out to safety. And maybe we will see a bot skirmish happen as Nucleic actually finds WX, uses the blast cone to get forward. Not able to land the W, and WX does have to shadow off cooldown and will be able to get out. But Yuki Minoko,
Ooh.
not quite sure if you want to go for that. That was a little bit risky. Now he's at a silver HP, so he's forced to back. Doesn't have teleport at all. That's a weird looking thing that I'm seeing on the top of the screen, but it doesn't matter as SAT Prep will be killing Yuki Minoko, but
no.
Cho'Gath is here to pick up the kill.
Yeah, Cho'Gath was there to pick up the end of that one. Good play by SAT Prep to try to get that kill, but does give a decent amount of gold over to Cho'Gath. I'll have to watch Cho'Gath's involvement in the rest of this game, because now it's kind of gotten donated 2 kills in a row. Should be accelerated a bit more towards that Sunfire Aegis Demonic Embrace build.
Oh, wait a
but
minute.
So
What's happening
strong.
here? Might be a fun bush. Might be a fun bush as our Spartan going to go in. WX going to shadow out, but not going to quite land on anyone as Nucleic is able to use the Umbral Trespass just to deny the death mark pretty much as the nice little double taunt coming out, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of damage going over to Virus, and he will get taken down as Kaldric is able to use the Galio ultimate to keep Dubei alive so that no one can touch this Heimerdinger, and that will be the only kill.
Yeah, Rutgers is just going fishing at this point, just hiding in a couple of bushes, set up a trap outside, and see where it goes. What a play by Rutgers. almost getting the kill onto WX. Kind of disappointing that they weren't able to pick that one up, at least for them. But definitely smart on WX to hold on to the Shadow until Nucleic's ultimate had finished. The Unbolt Trespass had been untrespassed because that was a...
Teleport was
good
denied.
timing.
Not teleport, the recall was denied, and now Virus trying to get onto Dude Bay, but that's quite significant, trying to cancel the recall out of Dude Bay. Now Virus can freely push this wave, not have to worry about Dude Bay being able to catch the wave in time. It might just be a lost wave for Dude Bay.
Yeah, that was definitely really good timing by Jarek, but overall not the most consequential thing in the world. Still should be fine for Dude Bay. Kind of an awkward spot to be in as the Heimerdinger bottom lane, but overall this game's going pretty well for the team, so can't be too upset about how, you know, you're feeling on things. It does... Well, we'll just wait a moment and see how everyone decides to play this out. Rutgers does have a pretty significant gold lead at this point, nearing 3K.
Oh, huge burst coming out from WX. Gonna chunk our Spartan to about 50% HP.
Yeah, Artspartan not going to try to trade back. I am interested in Artspartan deciding to go for the Corrupting Potion plus Dark Seal, because that doesn't work anymore. Possibly just deciding, okay, I want to go for the carry game, try to see if I can end up building into the Magi's, get a bunch of AP, something like that. But for anyone at home, Dark Seal, Corrupting Pot doesn't work. Oh, that's disappointing.
That was a bit questionable, but that does allow Queen's College to pick up that second dragon, since Nucleic did go for that Rift Herald instead. So Queens, they will have that extra regen. They will be at a comfortable spot during this entire laning phase, as our Spartan is bursted out once again, as Nucleic just hanging around. He does get spotted out though, but now we are into the Infernal Rift, so more damage if you get more dragons.
Yep, we will be seeing Infernal Soul, which could definitely help either of these teams. Both teams have a lot of carries.
SAT Prep gonna commit a lot here using the culling, but that does bring out the ultimate out of Yuki Minoko. So
yeah, ult for ult is always a pretty good trade for SAT Prep, already at a 2-level advantage, but even besides that, the Lucian ult is so much less important than the Vladimir ultimate, so if you can get that out of the way, the individual interactions in laning feel so much safer, and you can go for kind of ridiculous kills in the bottom lane. Or not in the bottom lane, the top lane.
I gotta give huge props to Nucleic, just denying a lot of jungle camps from Cho'Gath. Like, he took Amumu's topside so far 2 times in a row, like 2 whole rotations of it, so already Nucleic at a 30 CS advantage, and it's only going to get bigger from here if Nucleic keeps this up.
Yeah, Nucleic's already got the first mythic of the game, closely followed by Artspartan getting the Night Harvester. But definitely, if you are Nucleic, you're at a very comfortable point in this game, especially playing the Kayn. You always have to feel really awkward about playing early game as Kayn, but so far it's been going just fine, and
oh wait, there's going to be a fight here as Nucleic is going to get called out. There's 3 members. Not sure if he'll be able to get out. The Unbolt Trespass does not heal at all, so not going to do anything. As nice little pull to deny the extra damage coming out of the Fizzle, but it doesn't even matter as Yuki Minoko will go down, so will WX, and now Cho'Gath suddenly is all up to his own, doesn't have the ultimate to stun up SAT Prep, and all 3 will go down in exchange for Nucleic.
Yep, and a lot of really good interactions going Rutgers' way there. SAT Prep kiting extremely well away from that fight, never really in a ton, well, definitely in a lot of danger at certain points of the fight, but definitely did a great job of keeping the kill pressure off. Cho'Gath not really getting a whole lot done that fight, WX getting bursted out, Yuki Minoko also just getting burst out that fight, and even though Nucleic was on really low HP at the start, they had to invest so much in taking him down that Keldrick was able to be all the way up there. I would have to watch it again to see how Keldrick was
not
up
sure how
there.
that flight landed, as Dudebay just gonna die under his own tower. That was a bit of a questionable hook, but it looked weird, but they made it work.
Yeah, sometimes hooks just do that. At this point, if you're Dude Bay, you're kind of playing an awkward game. You just want to get to Leandry's plus Hourglass as soon as you can.
Alright, now Nucleic going to make his first appearance up in the top lane, maybe his second, as Cho'Gath is also here to try to deny any sort of Rift Herald push happening. WX also making his way up towards that top side just in case anything happens here. The Herald will get dropped by Nucleic. Keep in mind he has the Red Cane buff, so we'll have more sustain, we'll have more CC in his own kit, and now WX finally making his journey up to the top lane as the Herald will not do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. It feels like they probably could have fought around that and tried to at least push the wave forward for something, but I guess the Rift Herald wasn't going to do a whole lot in the first place because there are no plates anymore. Even with that, it's not a complete waste. It's just mostly a waste. Lockets have been built for both supports. First items were also completed in the top lane, but neither of them are mythics, actually. It's a Zanya's for Yuki Minoko going extremely defensive for this early game, and a Blade of the Ruin King, which I guess I just realized now that that's another thing that works like Kraken Slayer, where it feels really good and greedy because you get a lot of attacks off, but also when you're Lucian, you just get more attacks off in general, so you're just getting so much damage off.
SAT Prep, he's 3 levels ahead of Yuki Minoko, also about 80 CS, and Virus could go down here. It has Flash, but it's not going to do much as Yuki Minoko, meanwhile, will use his own Flash, and this top lane is just... yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's ADCS lead. Now Jarek will get caught. Our Spartan is here. Night Harvester doing a bit of extra damage. Jarek's flash will go out as well. So that's 3 flashes gone in the span of like, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, there's a lot of big damage out of this Night Harvester plus the Sheen coming out for Arch Spartan on this Fizz. Fizz has actually been a pretty strong champion on this patch, and a lot of that early burst damage is what really does it. And now Rutgers does want to start controlling the dragons. If you can get the 4...
Keldrick, good job of him to CC up Cho'Gath to try to stop him from getting into the Dragon Pit. The Curse of the Sad Mummy is going to do a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. There's no follow-up. Jarek now going to get caught out. So will Cho'Gath, who does go down first, and that's 2 easy picks, and that could mean a Baron going over to Rutgers.
Yeah. That fight was also really well played by Dude.
I thought it was almost 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Herald.
Baron's not up. Yeah, they might actually get a Rift Herald off this, but that was really well played by Dude Bay, who actually just kind of sat on the other side of the wall, placed down everything that he could over the wall, and just kind of waited there.
Oh no, Yuki Minoko. He does not have Zanya's actually, and he's just gonna get CC'd up. Gonna have a chance to use the Sanguine Pool, but it's not gonna be enough.
That was well done by SAT Prep to get the W right outside of the pool. Nice little optimization there, but definitely unnecessary. SAT Prep is extremely ahead, almost a flame horizon at this point.
Thunder Water's gonna land. It's a tiny shark, but it's gonna be enough damage to take out WX.
Yeah, and now Rutgers is just kind of running all over this Queen's College team. There is not much they're able to do around the map. So many squishy targets that Rutgers can just jump on, and even with a lot of defensive itemization, they're not getting anything done here. Look at
Pulling
the
gonna
stacks.
be used, but they're not body blocking for Jarek, and he's just gonna go down once again, and Nucleic going to try to do something. But
I mean, you can just see how quickly that SAT Prep is able to stack up that Blade of the Ruin King and get that movement speed steal. Now you're so much better at kiting, so much better at chasing, so much better at having that extra damage through the culling because nobody's able to get away from you. And now it's just so difficult to play up against Rutgers right now. So, I don't know. Definitely a rough game in draft. I didn't dislike the draft from Queen's College in theory, but the way it is played out, basically, I mean, their top lane is at such a gigantic disadvantage. In the jungle, Cho'Gath wasn't able to do a whole lot on this Amumu pick. Already, I mean, has completed the Sunfire Aegis, but hasn't done anything with it. And WX in the mid lane definitely had some unlucky spots early on in the game, but even still hasn't really been able to do anything. And at this point, as a Zed, what are you supposed to do in this game? You're behind. You're having trouble.
yeah, speaking of behind, he's gonna get jumped on.
Well, here's
We'll
another
see if the
kill.
knockup lands. It will not, so nothing.
All right.
nothing more will happen. But either way,
Yep.
5-1 on this Lucian, 6-1 on this Fizz. Already has 2 items completed, as well as SAT Prep did finish the Shield Bow, while the Fizz does have the Lich Bane now, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage, and SAT Prep will have more sustain than ever before.
Yep. I think the one bright spot for Queen's College right now has to be Virus, who does have 2 items completed, does have that collector building towards a very damagey item profile, trying to get kills, trying to carry this game. I think a lot of team fighting has to be on Showgraph and Virus getting away with a lot of fighting. It's going to be really difficult. It is going to be very, very difficult for Queen's College to come back in this game, but I think it has to be on the tanks plus Virus plus maybe Yuki Minoko at like 20 more minutes into the game. I mean, if you can complete what looks like a proto belt, what looks like the makings of a proto belt for Yuki Minoko, if you can complete that, just get a Hemoplague down in a team fight, that would be valuable at least. But it'll definitely require a miracle team fight, and not just a miracle team fight, but it has to be a team fight. There have to be many members of Rutgers around in order for Queen's College to even have a chance of coming back in this game, I think.
Yeah, now Baron, it will be, I assume, the main focus for Rutgers as they are clearing out the vision. So,
There are 30 seconds on Infernal, so they might be kind of waiting for that first. It
it
wouldn't.
is very possible as WX is going to get jumped on by Art Spartan, and that's just a lot of damage. The Deathmark is actually doing a lot of damage as well. The Deathmark is going to put Fizz at 1 HP, and he will go down. As now Virus will get jumped on by CT Prep, flash for flash, and Virus will go down as well. Curse of the Sad Mummy going to try to disengage the initiation coming out of Keldrick and Dude, and it will be enough, but Chograph not at the best HP, and will have to concede this dragon.
Yeah, not great by Art Spartan to die there, but also the fact that Virus died so quickly is a really good sign for Rutgers, because it means that they don't even have to worry about the strongest member of Queen's College. And yeah, now they're able to kind of just push people back.
Dutch line
yeah.
will connect. Trying to do a lot of damage as Yuki Minoko going to try to burst SAT Prep down, but he does flash forward, but it will not be enough as SAT Prep, he's still alive. The shield bow is going to keep him alive as Yuki Minoko will be using his Zanyas just to delay the inevitable. And that's going to be 2 quick kills coming out of Rutgers.
Yeah, and Rutgers positioned like that because they knew they had the answer if someone jumped on them while they were doing Dragon. They wanted to make sure that Dragon was safe, and as long as they knew Dragon was safe, they wanted to make sure that the rest of their team wasn't going to die because they were taking Dragon. And that was about where they needed to position in order to make sure that SAT Prep was not going to die pressuring for Dragon. And it worked perfectly, and now they're going to get Inhibitor for it.
Yep, they are knocking on the base of Queen's College in this game number 1. It is the best of 3, so Queen's College do have a chance to respond in the next game, but for now, Rutgers is currently running away with this game. Already a 12k gold lead without a Baron buff in this game at all. So, Rutgers surely will be able to close out this game.
Yeah, and there were a number of pretty unlucky things for Queen's College. I do think that early 2v2 that ended in kills for Art Spartan and Nucleic and deaths for WX and Chograph were it was a pretty disappointing series of events, but at the same time you still have to be able to make that work. They did get a couple of good kills in the bottom lane early on, and it felt like they had good control over there, but at the same time I think a lot of this does have to go on to Chograph in the jungle not really facilitating the solo lanes getting ahead and instead kind of meandering for a while. I mean, Amumu can be a very self-centered jungler in that as a Moo, you definitely want to be one of the key focuses of your team rather than just assisting your teammates. But at the
Oh,
same
look at
time,
this. Rutgers is going to not give a damn about where everyone else is. They're going to just go straight for the Baron because they know they can burst it down before some of the members show up. WX is going to be the first, but he's just going to get zoned off by Keldrick. And everyone from Queen's College is just getting zoned, and they can't even get inside.
Nabori Quick Blades have actually been finished for SAT prep as well. One of my favorite items added. As soon as I saw this, I was like, yeah, that's a Lucian item. That's a Lucian third item. And yeah, as we can see, it is a Lucian third item. So
Yeah,
SAT prep is ridiculously strong.
Literally allows Lucian to play Earth in a Summoner's Rift match, so he can do whatever the hell he wants as the culling will be put out, but the slow is enough to keep SAT prep from following WX. So he will be able to get out, but that does mean that WX will not be able to join the fight for the next 10 or so seconds. So we'll see what Rutgers can do with this valuable time, as they will take down the top lane inhibitor turret. And that's just a huge mini wave. A nice little double knockup though. Huge poke coming out of Dudebay. Gonna chunk a lot of members as Keldrick going to try to maybe go for an engage with a taunt, but it's not even gonna matter as the last inhibitor will go down for the next 5 minutes. And Rutgers, they're just slowly choking out Queen's College. They need to find an engage. They need to do something, but Keldrick will be the one who starts everything first. Virus going to get chunked down very low. Dredgeline will not connect, but that Death Mark will be there. Virus going to try to lifesteal, but it is cancelled by Nucleus Knockup, and that's going to be 3 kills going over to Rutgers so far. SND Prep going to dive into the fountain, will give 1,000 gold shutdown over to the Nautilus, but it doesn't even matter. This is the end of the game. Game 1 should go over to Rutgers, and there goes the Nexus.
Yep, and a pretty well played game by Rutgers, especially as you transferred into the later stages of the early game and into the mid game. Definitely looked a little bit rough in the early game. In the bottom lane, generally wasn't playing too well. Dudebay and Keldrick had a very awkward early laning phase. The Heimerdinger didn't seem to work out extremely well, but the top side of the map definitely got really far ahead, especially SAT Prep, who had a gigantic lead for that entire the entire game. Basically had a flame horizon by the end. Everything was just going SAT Prep's way, and it definitely feels like that's something that needs to be shored up going into the next game, as well as probably the jungle matchup, because Nucleic just had Cho'Gath's number in the jungle, was able to get so much of an advantage pushing ahead in getting jungle camps, getting ahead in levels, ended the game 3 levels up, which in a jungle matchup really shouldn't be happening, but it's definitely stuff to look forward to for game number 2.
Yeah, we'll see what the next plan of approach will be for Queen's College as they try to, I guess, figure out what they'll try to do to deal with some of the picks that were selected in this game number 1. And looking at the damage charts, definitely SAT Prep doing most of the damage. Surprisingly, WX did a good chunk amount of damage on his own team. So quite the interesting
Definitely had some good damage in the early game, but had a lot of issues transferring that later on and actually getting assassinations with it.
Yeah, and with that, we will go into a very short break, and when we come back, we will see if Queen's College will be able to come back in this game number 2, or if Rutgers will be able to close out in 2 games. So don't go anywhere.
Everything just lost in a memory, and I sure hope you do remember me like I remember you. Like I remember you.
And welcome back to week number 5 of Collegiate Star League between Rutgers University and Queens College Soaring Knights. We just saw game number 1. We were about to get into game number 2, the draft for game number 2. I am Dennis. I am here with Dan.
Hello.
And yeah, that game number 1 was very good for Rutgers. Definitely had a little bit of a rough early game, but definitely as it came into a bit later into that early game, definitely got a lot better. And especially in that top lane, the whole game went really, really well for SAT prep on that Lucian against the Vladimir. But definitely, I can't imagine that Rutgers will be given that same option again.
Yeah, definitely some of those champions will most likely get banned out. Lucian could be the one that could get taken off from
I think
SAT prep, but
Kane
there's
is
so
probably
many.
most likely.
Yeah,
Because
whichever
Nuclei could look
find.
very good on the Kane. I think the issue with banning the Lucian, and it could still get banned anyway, but I think the issue with banning the Lucian is that I think the Lucian just worked really well as a matchup into the Vladimir. And if Queen's College just picks something else other than the Vladimir, then, or even waits for the counter pick, then it could be difficult for Rutgers to make those same kind of plays happen. Although, and if you do decide to ban the Lucian, you could be showing a you could be either allowing like what they banned in the first game. They banned Brand, Fiora, Irelia. The teams will be keeping the same sides for game number 2, but I mean, if you leave up any of those options, then now you're looking at another really strong top laner coming through, potentially the Fiora, potentially the Irelia, something that works really well with the Triforce and can split push the way to a victory. So, I don't know. It'll be something to watch in this pick and ban phase.
And
For anyone just joining.
Oh wait,
no,
you
go
can
ahead.
go. You go. You go ahead.
For anyone just joining, this is week number 5 of Collegiate Star League. We are on patch 1023, so we do have all the new items and stuff. Rutgers is currently undefeated in the Northeast 7 division with a 3-0 record. Queens College is 2-1 so far. And Rutgers did take game number 1 fairly comfortably. We are getting into game number 2. Same sides, game number 1. So Queens College on the blue side, Rutgers on the red.
But there are
And we
some
should-
small changes. Going over to the University roster, Everett is back for game number 2, so he will be back in the mid lane. Art Spartan, who did play that Fizz last game, will be going over to support now, which is his primary role. And Dudebay will remain as AD carry, so only 2 players will be involved in the switcheroo as we get into Champ Select.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice that Rutgers has those different options, shuffling priorities. Does look like, wow, the Zac actually gets banned out, so they might be going for a very different sort of ban scheme. And the Samira, I like the Samira ban because I think that Rutgers has a lot of priority in choosing what kind of bans they want to get rid of, and I think the Samira is one of the it's one of the best ADCs right now, and definitely was a pick that played really well in the previous game. So I like getting men off the board really quickly, just make sure Queens College can't really play with that again, and having a number of options to pick in this still. I'm guessing we might see.
Oh, they
Fiora
actually
does get
banned out
banned.
Lucian.
So Lucian is
Wow.
banned. We are going to... Okay, let's think about this one. It means that the Brand and the Irelia are still available compared to what was banned in the previous game. Rutgers, previously they banned Lee Sin and Camille alongside the Kazakhs, so one of them is probably going to be left up. Or they'll just get rid of the Zed.
Yeah, that is also... I mean,
Wow.
Zed was a carry factor in that last game. He was able to perform even though the rest of his team weren't doing so hot, so they want to get rid of those comfort picks coming out of WX, but the Moo will maybe making his spectacular return.
Yeah, I think we could just see the same 2 first picks in this game, a Mumu, Kane, because those were definitely strong picks for both sides. And I mean, Amumu's such a strong champion. We know that from watching Amumu over this patch. Kane is a very strong champion as well. We've seen from the patch, we saw in the previous game. So I don't see why either of these junglers would flex away from it necessarily.
Yeah.
But at this point, we'll have to start seeing how they decide to approach things differently. This was a Galio pick last time. Could still be a Galio pick, but I don't know if Rutgers would want to go for something like a Jhin, potentially. Or the Brand is a mid-support flex as well. A lot, kind of like the Galio, it is a mid-support flex.
Yeah,
and was banned in the previous game.
There is no
Keldrick,
Keldrick, so the Galio main is no longer in this lobby, so they don't have to worry about the Galio for now.
Yep, that is definitely true. And Brand is just such a strong champion right now. Definitely really good synergy with the Leandries. Senna, ooh. If that gets locked in, I would not be surprised. Senna's been really strong lately. A lot of people are building with the Eclipse plus the Collector. A pretty similar build to the Jhin. You want to get the lethality down. I've seen some people decide to go for the Divine Sunderer as well. It's not as popular, but definitely has that Sheen proc, does a bunch of damage. So definitely a lot of options for the Senna.
I mean, there's also the Manamune option, which still exists, but it does mean that Senna will not have the best early game. But it is a good starting item for Senna that could be picked up, as the Camille is going to be blind picked here.
Yep. So, and now it's an interesting spot for Rutgers because they either have to pick their counter into Camille or pick their counter into Senna. You don't really get both right now. I would say probably pick up something like a Jhin right here into the Senna or whatever that you want to play the Senna.
Oh,
but actually it's Jack.
Yeah. They're going to go for the option to counter with the Camille instead of the Senna. And Galio was actually banned by Rutgers.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Camille Galio is a really good combo. The mid lane is still unclear right now, so I don't dislike the Galio ban just because I don't think Rutgers wants to play the Galio this game. And Queen's College will now, because they saw the Jax ban, they're probably going to get rid of Ashe and Jhin. Maybe Ashe and Misfortune even. Just get rid of some of the big 80 carry picks, but we don't know what Dude Bay wants to go for this game. We could see the Heimerdinger again, we could see the Swain. We still don't know where that Brand is going necessarily. It could be mid, it could be support. So definitely a lot of potential options for Rutgers to flex that Brand around and see where they decide to go. But Rutgers does need something in the bot lane regardless.
Yep, Leona, one of the best supports to accompany Senna with just so much CC coming out from both of them. So I really like the ban coming out from Rutgers, and we'll see if Queen's College will end up banning the Jhin. No, it's going to be the Fizz instead. So Jhin is going to be picked up by Dude Bay, and like I said in game 1, it is one of his comfort ADCs, so he is going to have a very good time.
A little bit there. I think Queen's College got baited a bit there. I don't think that they knew Art Spartan was going to flex down to the bottom lane. There are a lot of picks that are a lot more key on Everett. Definitely they had the information that Everett is going mid. So I think it was just a little... They got a little outplayed there. I'll say.
Yeah, just a little bit. Oh, we don't see this. We don't see this every day, but it could happen. But it's also going to be a blind pick. Yeah, it's definitely a blind pick. It definitely
goes along well with the assassin picks. A lot of the new assassin items. Yep, it is locked. All right, Talon in the mid lane. I like seeing Talon. I am curious to see what mythic that
could be
WX decides to go for.
It could be Eclipse. It could be Prowler. It could be Duskblade. One of those three.
Yeah, definitely one of the lethality ones, and this Lux would be a nice support. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Good partner with the Senna. You've got so much range on that bottom lane. You get a lot of potential for kind of just sniping out targets, so definitely nice. Although Jhin can definitely pick something alongside that. Jhin Brand is definitely not bad at playing with that, and I don't think Brand wants to play up against the Talon. Diana, though.
Ooh.
Diana could scrap with Talon pretty well.
Yeah, Diana, probably one of those assassin counters. I'd assume so. Yeah, Everett will be going on to Diana. He has a very wide champion pool at this point.
Yeah,
Seems like he's playing a
Very
different
impressive.
champion every series.
yeah, super impressive by Everett, honestly. The Diana, I assume Diana wants the Riftmaker. I can independently research this, but I think Riftmaker would work pretty well into Diana. Ooh, the Night Harvester actually looking more
Ooh.
popular. So basically the same
It's
build
basically more
as the
burst. Yeah.
yeah, basically the same build as the Fizz in the last game. Although we could see either. It looks like it's not unlikely we'll see either of those builds. Possibly a Proto Belt as well. People are still kind of experimenting with Diana, but even still, it's probably kind of similar to the matchup from last game with the AP Assassin against the AD Assassin in the mid lane. But this time it's Everett in the mid lane instead of Arch Spartan, who Everett definitely a lot more comfortable as a mid laner than Arch Spartan, who is primarily a support. So I'm expecting good things out of Rutgers this game. A lot more players
Do
on
you think
their.
we'll see a stomp like we saw in the first game? Or will we see a little bit of a hiccup?
I expect it'll go better in the first game than it did for Rutgers, personally.
Alright, we'll get into the game
will, yeah.
eventually.
Everyone seems ready, so I don't know what they're waiting on.
Yeah, not sure. Oh, yep, there we go. We are finally
here
in the
we go.
game, so... I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we can
We're
look at some of the matchups
yeah, we're
here.
seeing quite a bit of power picks coming out from both sides, like we did in the first game. Like the Amumu is back, Kane is back. We're seeing some new faces here. Actually, a lot of new faces.
I think everything else is new, yeah.
Yeah.
The top lane's a really interesting matchup because it is two presumably Triforce top laners. I think Camille is pretty comfortable picking the Triforce, although I've seen Divine Sunderer as well. And Jax is almost certainly going to be going for the Triforce. Both of these champions definitely want to be split pushing, definitely have flank options, but love to just sit in a side lane and try to 1v1 whatever comes up to them.
Yeah, but in terms of 1v1, Jax seemingly has the upper hand if he is able to counter-strike at the right time, so definitely going to be a skill matchup up there, so we're expecting quite a bit of skirmishes happening.
Yeah, although at the same time, I mean, if you look at like skirmishes, if you look at pick options, Yuki Minoko on the Camille should have a lot of options with that alongside WX on the Talon. Talon is one of those big roaming assassins, definitely the premier roaming assassin,
Yeah.
has that wall jumping ability that's so good at just getting around the map very easily. So I think that WX's movements will be important to keep up with, and whether Everett cannot keep up with the roams completely, but if Everett can keep WX behind the wave a little bit, make sure that there isn't much of a push going on, then definitely Everett can start getting much more of an advantage in this game than what WX is really able to get away with.
Yeah. And then we can maybe look into the bot lane now. Senna Lux, you talked about their great CC layover, I guess that's how you say it. But it's also Jin and Bran, another one of those, I guess, poke-oriented bot lane comps, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what will happen down there, as both these champions will be exceptional in their poking, so...
The range on these bot lanes are really massive, but at the same time, Lux Senna gives you a little bit more healing and shielding, a bit more utility, while Jin Brand is a lot more damage straight up. Both of those champions just do a bunch of damage. They do have CC options, but the pure damage out of that bot lane, Jin Brand, is going to be ridiculous, and it's something that Virus and Jarek are going to have to make sure they can keep up with, make sure that they're not losing out on CS, getting killed a couple of times. They definitely did well in the first game, although obviously there has been a substitution at support. Arch Spartan is now in, which is definitely a different matchup to play up against. Definitely will play out differently, as well as just these are long-range champions, while in the previous game everything was really short-ranged. So the game is going to play out differently on those terms, but yeah, just in general, it's very interesting. I think it is very interesting, a lot of the champions that have been picked. It feels like these team compositions don't really gel together super well.
That is true.
Camille Amumu Talon is not bad. There's definitely
maybe.
roam
Yeah, there's
potential.
there's
engage
roam potential. Amumu and Talon could maybe roam like bot lane at level 3, since Talon is able to do that, but I'm sure the rest of Rutgers will be aware that Talon is able to do those kinds of shenanigans before he even hits level 6, so they will be watching out for that.
I guess I'll just say I'm not a huge fan of the picks either game for WX. I get in solo queue why you might want to go for a Talon. It gives you a lot more agency over the game, or just an AD assassin in general. But in a game like this, you don't really have to be the one making those big plays. Just go on some simple AP champion. Like, actually, in this game, there's actually really light AP for the side of Queen's College. They've only got the Amumu and the Lux, who are secondary carries at best. Amumu might get a Demonic Embrace second. Lux might end up with a damage item, but also could end up going for a support mythic. So anything that Rutgers decides to build, if Jax builds a Death's Dance, if Diana builds a Hourglass, if Jin builds GA, whatever armor item that AD carries have, like, there are a lot of options for Rutgers to counter most of the damage that'll be coming out from Queen's College. And it means that the Iotas? I don't know what word I'm trying to say there. It means that the ball is in Queen's College's court. They have to be the ones making the plays into the early game so that they're not falling behind when their single damage type composition is going to be getting into the later stages of the game. So either way, I think it will be a very interesting game, but we are going to take a brief break to get into game. When we come back, we will have game number 2 between Rutgers and Queen's College, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back. Sorry that I was a couple seconds later than usual. I was laughing at what Dan put in what Dan said over the break, which is just TFT matchup mid lane, which I laughed very hard at. But yeah, it is TFT matchup mid lane, and it is kind of it does kind of exemplify what these two champions are. Everett being a little bit tankier, a little bit more willing to grab with the tankier members of Queen's College, while WX on the Talon is going to be more about that pure damage, trying to make sure he's able to get those kills in a fight, try to get as many as possible, try to make sure the carries don't feel safe for Rutgers, primarily meaning Dude Bay and Arch Spartan, who have actually both elected to go for Dark Harvest this game, so it's another thing Virus and Jarek are going to have to look out for, not giving too many Dark Harvest stacks over, because that can be very scary.
Oh, yeah,
Virus
definitely.
is stacking tier in the bush. Oh, it's
Yeah,
because
it's
if
Senna's
you use
Q.
the Q on an
Yeah.
ally. Okay.
If you use okay, so the new tier, every time you hit something with an ability, you get 3 mana. But if that thing you hit is a champion, you get 6 mana. So Senna Q works on champions, but it doesn't specify if it's an enemy champion, if it's an allied champion. So whenever you use your Q on, you know, your support, you get 6 mana. So you start with this much mana at the start, and out of 24 out of 450 stacks, not even 2 minutes in the game, that's pretty huge.
That is pretty convenient. I honestly did not realize that was
Yeah,
something that could work. That's
I played
really
Senna
fun.
one day, and then I tried it, and I was like, "Oh wow, this works."
That's very convenient. Actually.
Yeah, so yeah, that's why I was like thinking maybe this Senna could go for that tier option here, and it looks like Virus well aware of the interaction.
Yeah, definitely a nice start, although I do wonder if the Manamune is going to be picked up, or if it is just a mythic start and then a Manamune second or third.
It's more likely gonna
that's
be a
lot of
mythic.
damage.
Oh wait, that's gonna be a nice combo. The flash four, not even flash, just the 4th shot in general just blows up Jarek, and yeah, this early game's already off to a great start for Rutgers.
Yep, that's that's Brand Jin for you, and it looked like Jarek wasn't ready for it. Great play by Dude Bay and Arch Spartan in the bottom lane. I mean, you can hear me there. I was just shocked that they got away with that.
Yeah, I also
Arch
realized,
Spartan barely popping the ignite.
Yeah, Dude
Yeah,
Bay
go ahead.
and Arch Spartan both have Dark Harvest. Not sure
Yeah.
if anyone knew that, but there we
I
have
did
it.
mention that, but it's okay.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. I'm sorry.
They both got a Dark Harvest stack off of that interaction though, which was very good for them. I mean, this will be a scary bot lane. I mean, Dark Harvest obviously keeps getting stronger as you stack more and more stacks, and so a 4th shot plus Dark Harvest stack can just burst one of these champions in the bottom lane out from half health, maybe. It's gonna be pretty scary to play up against.
Oh, SIT Prep going to do a little bit of damage. Yuki Minoko, nice dodge coming out of the counter strike, but Yuki Minoko is also very low, but the minions is going to be enough to take him out, but is it? As Yuki Minoko will get solo killed by SIT Prep once again. It's a repeat as WX will get slowed and taken out by Nucleic. And this game is already going very poorly for Queen's College.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remember that thing I said about I thought the game would go a bit better for Rutgers than last game?
Yeah, it's going much better.
It's going a lot better, ain't it? Already a 2k gold lead, leads in every single lane now. And it doesn't look like Queen's College has any answers. They are kind of just getting out mechanics in a lot of cases, even in the jungle where Cho'Gath is not getting anything done. Nucleic is just having the pressure over all of the jungle camps, already with a CS lead along with a kill. That really shouldn't be a thing happening early into the game. You should have a CS lead or a kill, not both of them. So, I don't know, it's going to be real difficult for Queen's College in this game number 2 to even come back from this. And this is game number 2. They're down a game. They have to win this game or they lose the series.
Yeah. And we'll see how Queens is going to try to respond. They have a lot of late game options, like the Senna could go late game, Yuki Minoko could be going for that late game split push. But it's going to be hard to even reach that late game if they're already 3 kills down. So it's going to be, like I said, really difficult. But either way, we'll see how they'll react to it, as another nice little combo will go down in the bot lane. Virus is taken down to about 25% HP as Arch Spartan is actually dangerously low. They're going to go for it. They're going to flash forward. Both of them will, as they will get the kill into Arch Spartan. Now, Dude Bay maybe we'll get the kill onto Jarek, but there's the stun. But Dudbei going to flash forward, should be able to take down Jarek as soon as he gets vision. There we have it, and it's at 1 HP. That's a little bit awkward, but it doesn't matter, as Everett will show up in the bot lane. But where is the Talon? He's still pushing the mid lane. Not sure why he is, but Everett getting that nice little mid pressure down will be able to find a roam and will get a flash out of Cho'Gath.
Yep. It's a lot of Dark Harvest stacks for Dudbei. I think it was stacks on every single champion there, so that was 3 out of that interaction. Definitely really well played by Dudbei, even with the really awkward Jhin timings, being able to avoid as much damage as possible and still getting off so much damage in that interaction. Just really well done.
Wait a minute. Are they gonna see him?
Nucleic
no,
is
they don't
blind.
see him. I don't
It's
think the
okay.
vision stretches
Nucleic
into
has been
that.
playing this early game really well. Already had the Iron Spike whip at 5 minutes. I was going to mention that before everyone died. And already now, this is a massive lead for Rutgers. Virus has decided to go for the Sheen. That does point towards my Divine Sunderer theory. I actually do like Divine Sunderer a lot on Senna, because getting the Q auto off is a real comfy amount of damage, and that just bursts things out. But also, it's kind of... everything is kind of awkward for Senna, so... You know, you just kind of pick whatever feels best for you, whatever you feel like gives you the biggest burst of damage, especially in this early game. Ooh, that's
a little
not
bit
good.
of a skirmish. And it looks like Nucleic will be able to take that Scuttle Crab, as SAT Crab will continue to skirmish with the Yuki Minoko, as the Hextech Ultimatum is actually being used. SAT Crab should be able to win this unless Yuki Minoko wants to run away to safety, but SAT Crab will follow, but Cho'Gath is here, and will he get the kill? Yes, he will, but the kill will be traded by Cho'Gath, so it's going to be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, well done by Cho'Gath to at least trade that. Yeah, to trade the kills there. Yuki Minoko kind of played that awkwardly because you're playing against the Jax. The Jax is just gonna kill you. Just walk away. Even trying to stay there is really greedy, and it was smart to try to get out of there, but it didn't work. If Cho'Gath had gotten there a little bit earlier, or if Cho'Gath was...
Oh, wait a minute, Everett just showed... Oh my...
Bonk.
I'm not even finished and they're already dead. Wow.
That was big ol' Moonfall bonk right there. My goodness.
I didn't even realize that.
Really well.
I didn't even realize Everett was...
the Talon. What is happening?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't expect Everett to get down there so quickly. WX
Again?
Yeah, WX didn't even move at all from mid lane, so... He's trying to get some kind of mid pressure, but it doesn't even matter as Everett is already back in lane. So
I mean, this is such a difficult
this
game
is
for
very
Queen's
wild.
College right now. They're just getting run over all over the map right now. I don't know how they're supposed to play this. Oh, this could be good.
this is gonna be a little bit bad. That's a nice counter strike. Will dodge the true damage part of Yuki Minoko's Q. So SNT Prep will be living just a little bit longer, but as Nucleic will be there to try to stop some kind of engage, as Yuki Minoko should be able to get out of here. No problem, unless Nucleic is able to use the Humble Trespass in time. Looks like he will, but he's going to use the Flash instead, and he will get the kill onto Yuki Minoko.
Nucleic? I haven't seen Nucleic use the active Iron Spike Whip in either of these games. That's just a minor point that I feel like I want to make.
What is happening here?
I'm not sure.
Cho'Gath might get pincered here if he walks up too far forward. Or is it Everett going to be the one that's going to get pincered here, as he will try to get away to safety, will dodge away from W. So it was a question of who's getting collapsed by who, and both of them end up getting out.
Well, not to scare you, Dan, but Dudbei already has an Eclipse.
And it's only 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes into
That's
the
scary
game.
for... It's not scary for me, it's more scary for Queen's College.
Yeah.
Especially when the Senna only has a Sheen to counteract with the damage, as Everett is going to get ulted on, as Everett trying to do what he can to try to do as much damage as he can, but this Flash auto will be able to secure the kill onto Everett.
That was pretty cool for him.
It's also a solo kill.
Yeah. WX did have to burn both summoners to get away with that one. Everett had the flash down, so wasn't actually able to burn any summoners there. But definitely well done by WX, getting the jump over the wall to kind of corral Everett away, and then jump back in when the cooldowns were back up. Very good usage of the champion, getting the typically out of combat ability some use in combat. That was pretty nice. Even still, it's not looking good.
Oh, wait a minute. Cho'Gath going to go in, going to have to use this Curse of the Sad Mummy. It's only going to catch on to Art Spartan, who does have the flash to get out. There's the burst coming out, and Cho'Gath might be going down here unless the Senna heal is there. The Ignite will be able to take him down as Jarek needs to be blocked by Virus. There's the laser, almost hits the 4th shot. Dudebei almost going to get the snipe off as Dudebei trying to do what he can, not quite landing all the shots. But that's okay. They do get 1 kill onto Cho'Gath, so either way, it's going to be a 1 for none, as the rest of Rutgers will be moving up towards the Rift Herald to try to do something there as SAT Prep. Going to continue trading onto Yuki Minoko, but he's doing so much damage. He does have Flash to chase him down, but it looks like he will not use it.
Yeah, SAT Prep is really taking over this game. Another game with a counter pick for SAT Prep, and SAT Prep picks the counter pick perfectly and is doing really well in this early game. We are still seeing some trading down here. Definitely been Rutgers favored this entire time. Getting the counter kill onto Cho'Gath was so good.
Yeah, and with this Herald, they're going to just continue to extend their lead, as Cho'Gath is hanging around, so is Yuki Minoko, but this Herald will be able to take about 2 plates here. And it's all going over to Nucleic. That's really funny.
Yeah, kind of minimum gains there. WX did a good job clearing the wave with the Iron Spike Whip active. It definitely wasn't a great play or anything for Queens College, because they still gave over a couple of plates to Nucleic, but wasn't exactly bad for them either. Nucleic hasn't gotten super accelerated on orbs so far, at least. So that's something going for Queens College. Still, this is a difficult game so far, to say the least.
And it looks like SAT Prep seems to be going for the Bork. Yeah,
It does look like the
like
option, which
yeah.
is kind of strange. I'm seeing a couple of strange things in this game. WX is also going for what appears to be a Stride Breaker. I don't hate that one, because, I mean, it's interesting. I don't like it necessarily. It's not lethality. I would have liked lethality a little bit. But Stride Breaker isn't terrible, but I can't say I'm a fan of Blade of the Ruin King on Jax.
Well, speaking of Jax, he's going to maybe get jumped on by WX, but there is a ward that was placed, I think, a good couple seconds before Talon even showed up, so good heads up coming out of SAT Prep here, as Art Spartan actually gets trapped by the Lux Q, but it's going to match the damage here, and Curtain Call
Doesn't really do anything,
yeah.
but, you know.
It was more
Moral
like
support.
it was more like a places everyone kind of ult, you know? Make sure
Yeah.
everyone is outside the Curtain Call, as SAT Prep is just chasing down Yuki Minoko. Will not dive the tower. Or is he?
Oh.
Oh, he's gonna go back in, but the stun is there, flash forward, and that's another solo kill.
Yeah, SAT Prep. Another solo kill, another kill into this top lane. Now, Yuki Minoko is 0-4, having to keep trying to build towards a Triforce, while SAT Prep is building towards terrible item.
What?
Probably gonna complete a Blade of the Ruin. If this is a Blade of the Ruin, yeah, come on. Just, what are you doing?
I don't know, but Jarek is
What?
dead. Jarek is dead. There's
That
nothing
was
else I can
one auto
say.
attack. What's happening? That was one auto attack from like half health.
I don't think the Senna ultimate shield even connected there. Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure, but
don't believe it
WX
did.
might blow up Art Spartan here, unless Art Spartan is able to survive. The Ignite is ticking, and he should be able to get out. It looked... Oh, it almost was a kill for WX, but, you know, it happens, as Nucleic not in the best spot at the moment. He's going to try to buy time enough for SAT Prep to even show up. There he is. The Iron Spike Whip was actually used, so Nucleic going to live for a little bit. Will flash away. Nice double stun coming out of SAT Prep. He will get one. Everett actually teleports down just in case, but it's not even needed.
Mm-hmm. And another series of good interactions for Rutgers. SAT prep able to roam in time with terrible item choice, and Nucleic kind of just sitting there, able to lifesteal a little bit up. Doesn't actually have Red Cane yet, I think, but the Gore Drinker active is able to get that healing back. And
oh, Cho'Gath, he's going to go in. He's going to use his first time mummy. No, it's actually on cooldown, and he's going to either way take down our Spartan as Cho'Gath trying to move forward. Do what
Spartan
he
had to
can.
die eventually. With how many times Arch Spartan had been standing way too far forward and somehow didn't die, it had to happen eventually, right? This is getting a little sloppy for Rutgers. I think. A couple of kind of sloppy plays from Arch Spartan moving a little too far forward. This
Oh, Nucleic going to find Jarek, who is going to flash away. And yeah, the
no
pressure is on.
trespass.
Rutgers not giving up this tempo that they already have. 4 and 13 is the kill score. 7k, 7.5 gold lead is the gold difference. So yeah, Rutgers should be able to close this game out in a very comfortable fashion at this point in the game.
Yep. And it does look like Rutgers is taking control of this game, although I think the gold lead has actually shrunken a little bit over the past couple of minutes. I may be wrong, but Rutgers has given up a couple of kills. It does look like they are going to get this tower at least, which should accelerate them a little bit. The dragon should probably be theirs. I don't really see how that gets contested. Definitely Rutgers is playing very well. I would like to see SAT prep pick items better. Come on. Come on.
I mean, he's already so ahead. It doesn't even matter all that much.
It doesn't, but you know, for the spirit of the thing, you've got. I guess it's Harrisburg in like a month anyway, so you don't really have to worry that much about playing, about not knowing how to build until then. But you know, for the spirit of the thing, at least don't build Blade of the Ruined King on Jax. I wouldn't even mind it if it was like Blade of the Ruined King, Shield Bow, Rage Blade, so you do like a Rage Blade Jax build, but that's just wasting stats. Come on.
Yeah, they're just.
I gotta get my my little bit of negativity in for this game.
Either way,
overall Rutgers playing too well now.
Yeah, they're gonna get this Herald quite easily. There's no way Queens College can contest this at this point in the game. So. We'll see what they'll do. WX might look for a pick here, but there's 4 members approaching the bush at the same time, so no chance for a one-shot combo there. Unless Everett has something to say. He's going to try to go for a assassination onto Jarek, but it doesn't even matter as Kristenstad Mummy is available, but Cho'Gath just gets stunned up and taken out. There's no chance for a nice little wombo combo for Queens College. WX trying to do what he can to just flash away, run away, but he can't even go anywhere. The parkour is just not enough as Virus might get taken down his own tower, but the root is actually going to do a lot of work as Arch Spartan is, I think, soloing that dragon.
I do believe Arch Spartan is trying to solo the dragon. I didn't think that made any sense, but yeah.
Well,
definitely a
here
good
we
fight by Rutgers. Nuclei actually followed WX for so long. Kind of a hard target to track down because of all the lifesteal on top of the... Okay, come on. SAT prep is fine. But yeah, another good fight by Rutgers. This game looks kinda over. It seems like it would be very hard for Queens College to come back from this. They are down 2 dragons, but probably more crucially, they're down over 10,000 gold, over 11,000 gold. Multiple items coming in from a lot of members of Rutgers. Is it just the first mythics are coming in for Queens College? This recall should also be pretty big for a couple of them. Collector finished for Dude Bay.
yeah. The rest
I
of,
want to say Dude Bay is trying to look at what items he wants to build. Yeah. Sat there for a little too long. Does get the QSS. So, pretty smart, actually, going with all the CC on Queens College. And also just because you can get crit out of QSS now. It's not a terrible item for the build anymore.
Yeah, Scimitar is going to be a good option for Dude Bay here, as I don't know if stream can hear this, but my dad's literally vacuuming outside my door, so I don't know what's happening. But what is happening is SAT Prep getting another kill onto Jarek, and there's a 1v1 in the bot lane as Everett and WX are going at a TFT matchup here, as WX will be parkouring away, but it doesn't even matter as the rest of Rutgers are just on the Baron.
WX can't do that. He didn't get the reset. He didn't kill with the attack. He can't jump like that. That's Baron though. Everett will be a little easier for Everett on the next go around with WX because the hourglass has been completed. WX not really able to complete anything. Definitely everything is Rutgers favored at this point. It's going to be extremely difficult for Queens College to really get anything done. I think it's more about how well can Rutgers finish off this game.
Oh, wait a minute. Nucleic is going to get jumped on. Chograph is there for the flank. But it looks like Nucleic just doesn't give a damn. He's just going to kill off WX, and now Nucleic is finally going to get taken down, but not at the cost of 2 ultimates.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who is getting jumped on here? Because WX kind of just got bursted out. Nucleic's not too important to a fight. Definitely has a lot of damage, but so does WX comparatively on the team. So.
Yeah, but look at the bot lane. Everett just splitting down there with no one to contest. WX is not, available right now, so they're gonna need to find one. But it's just so hard as with this 3-1 push coming out of Rutgers right now. So they need to decide: do they stop Everett or do they stop the 3 members of Rutgers that are pushing? Nice little final spark to try to poke them down a little bit, but it's not doing too much damage as Dubeg going to try to get those autos in onto the inhibitor, but it's not going to be mattering all too much. But slowly they will take down this inhibitor, unless Chograph has something to say about it.
Yeah, and all the meanwhile, Everett is kind of sitting on the side, threatening things. Nobody's really able to touch Everett, and no one's able to clear waves very well. WX is probably the best at it, but even Baron waves, like, nobody can really deal with that. Yuki Minoko is not really doing too well as a split pusher right now, just because there's no Tiamat, there's no AoE damage. You just kind of bat at... It takes 3 auto attacks to kill a caster minion. It takes forever for Yuki Minoko to even get rid of a normal wave, so it gets so difficult. No inhibitors actually taken down, so that is a fairly good hold by Queens College.
It definitely is a small win for Queens College. So, but we do see the team finally.
Go. Oh, Raptor Steel,
thumbs up and everything. But either... Oh, can he do it again? Oh, no. Smite's not up yet. Nucleic is just having a joyride down the bot lane.
Yep. Having a good time on Kane. Ooh,
nice little damage onto Yuki Minoko. Surprised that did a good amount of damage as SNT Prep will try to jump onto Chograph. I'm surprised that root still landed. But,
yeah.
Either way, it does let Chograph survive, so for now... Things are going somewhat... What the?
I think it's to try to keep Everett out. Try to make sure they had shields going. Everett did a lot of damage with just a Q, so I think they were kind of afraid.
I mean,
could have also been to try to take Dragon, maybe? I don't know.
But Dragon is definitely being taken by SCT Prep. They should be able to take that. It's going to be Soul Point, but I doubt the game will last until then. So, we'll see how Rutgers will start to close out this game.
And kind of notably, Virus hasn't actually completed the Mana Moon
wait,
yet.
this might be the end here as Chograph going to try to go in. Does get the ultimate off, but there's going to be 0 follow-up unless WX can get in. R Spartan going to flash away. Nice little knockback coming out of Everett's ultimate, but is it going to be enough to save R Spartan? It looks like the answer will be yes, actually, as double kill will be secured by Dudebay. There's the curtain call going to be in, but Virus is going to get taken down by SNT Prep. Jarek now stuck in a corner, and the only man standing is Yuki Minoko, as he is nowhere close to his own base.
Yep, and the final Dark Harvest counts. Well, actually, Yuki Minoko, we're going to watch this first.
Yeah, we're going to watch this 1v1 as Yuki Minoko is trying to run away from Nucleic.
Good
Might
avoid.
be able to do so, but it's not going to be enough distance as the rest of Rutgers are going to tear down the base of Queens College, and it looks like Rutgers, heading into the end of 2020, will remain undefeated until they come back in January.
Yep. definitely a good series by Rutgers, staying at the top of the division, and the final Dark Harvest counts were 12 for Dude Bay and 9 for Arch Spartan. For a 25-minute game, that is really good, and overall just a great series from Rutgers. I was pretty impressed. I was fairly impressed by game number 1. I was very impressed by game number 2. A lot of very good mechanical play. Definitely some stuff to check on with the item in the item department for some people. But overall, I think it was a great series by Rutgers. So overall, just a good way to end the first half of the CSL season for sure.
Yep, both our top 2 teams, the varsity and the junior varsity 1 team, are undefeated. So things are looking very good heading into the second half of the CSL split, I guess. Season. That's the better word.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like we said before the first game, this is the final game for Rutgers Junior Varsity. Varsity were supposed to play a set today, but unfortunately the opposing team did FF, so both these teams will not be playing for the rest of 2020 and will be on break until, I think, the 6th? Was it the 6th? Yeah, the 6th of January of next year, which is when Junior Varsity will play their next game against Harrisburg University,
9th.
I believe. Oh, the 9th, I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's the 9th versus Harrisburg, I believe another team that is also undefeated in Junior
They're
Varsity's division.
definitely undefeated.
Yeah.
Fantastic team. It'll be very difficult for Rutgers to take that one, but I'm excited for it regardless.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes down. And then a week after that, on the 16th, it'll be Rutgers Varsity, the top dogs of our CSL teams, will be playing on that day. So be sure to look out for those. But for now, we will be signing off for the rest of 2020, unless we are back for, I think, Fireside. Yes, that's the name.
Yeah, there's Fireside.
There's Fireside, so keep an eye out for that event. It is going to be one of the biggest events. Hopefully it's better than last year, but we don't talk about that. Anyway. But yeah, that's going to be it from us, and everyone stay safe and have a good night.
Because you said that you can't sleep. So tell me, girl, 'cause you know that it should be me. You know that it should be me. Know that it should be wondering what I'm gonna do. Do I stand up and fight, or do I just let you be you? We don't even speak. It's got me feeling like a ghost, and I want you to be happy, and that's what's hurting me the most.